It's always time. I kind of want that. Hello everyone, welcome to AvgJoeWatchReviews, where we do more than just reviews. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a really cool head-to-head battle between the Hamilton Khaki versus the Swiss Watch Company Bunker. Which one will come out victorious? Well, let's dive on in and find out, shall we? But before we do so, we have special guest Bob Ross, and let's see what he has to say today.
Let's get crazy. What the heck? Take a 2-inch brush. This is your bravery test.
Let's get crazy. So we will do so, but we'll do it without the 2-inch brush. So let's dive on in. First and foremost, let's do the specs. We're going to take a look at the loom. Does the loom compare between the Hamilton and the SWC? So for the Hamilton, I'm going to score it for a range of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And let's take a look at a time lapse between the two watches before I render a score. As you can see, the Hamilton on the left and the Bunker from Swiss Watch Company on the right. So as you can see, the Hamilton is surely losing its loom much quicker, and it's also not as bright as the SWC. So because of that, the SWC actually will last the night. The Hamilton actually will not last the night. It will only last an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then it really just dies down significantly. So I give the Hamilton a disappointing 5 out of 10. Swiss Watch Company gets a 9 out of 10. Now, Swiss Watch Company also uses Swiss Superluminova. Hamilton uses something that is definitely inferior. It is definitely not a Swiss Luminova. Hamilton does not hold loom to a high standard, at least when they were producing this particular watch. So for those reasons, there you go. In regards to the crystal, I give the Hamilton a 7. Hamilton does use a sapphire crystal for the dial side and also the case back. So that's pretty impressive, but pretty standard for a watch of that caliber. Now, Swiss Watch Company, I give them a 10. Reason being is because they also use a sapphire crystal, but if you take a look here, you can see that they use 16 layers of AR coating. So they actually take a step further so that this dial is completely, the crystal is completely invisible in most lighting situations. So, you know, for a watch in this price point to have that type of AR coating, especially 16 layers, you get this kind of AR coating with Swiss luxury pieces that are $1,000 or more for sure. I mean, I'm looking at even usually 2,000 or more, that type of AR coating. So very, very impressive indeed. When it comes down to movement, I give Hamilton a 9. And as you can see that they actually muscled it out against Swiss Watch Company, who gets a 7. So the reason being is the Hamilton actually has an 80-hour power reserve. Hamilton uses a caliber H10, which is based off the ETA C07.111, whereas the SWC uses a pretty standard SW200 movement. Not a bad movement, but Hamilton definitely has a lot of history, and Hamilton actually puts their own calibration on this particular movement. And also I'm looking at it from a practicality standpoint, that 80-hour power reserve definitely will trump 38 power reserve. So Hamilton for the win for sure. When it comes to straps, Hamilton gets a 6. And I'm going to show you why. Because today the Hamilton is actually on a SWC strap. SWC actually offers a Hamilton style leather strap, and you can see the H, and you've got the double holes, you've got the beautiful rivets, and it's just really nicely done. As you can see, I have worn this, and it's extremely comfortable. So the strap that comes with the Hamilton actually looks like this. And I haven't worn it that long, but first and foremost, the leather is not that great. There's no padding. It was actually the leather was creasing pretty significantly. And I felt like the leather was aging a lot more than it should, but there's just no real glitz or glamour to this strap. And also very sharp. Okay, quality but sharp. But honestly, and I hate to say it, but well, I don't want to say I hate to say it, but SWC actually does it better than Hamilton. So yeah, this one actually went into the bin, and I haven't used it since. But Swiss Watch Company definitely edges them. This is their version of the strap. It does have some nice padding. This stitch here, I'm not sure. I think, I mean, because this is a loaner watch, so I'm thinking that this was just due to wear. But I didn't score it an 8 just because of the leather strap. No, I scored it an 8 because they actually send an extra strap, which is a nice like elastic material strap with the Velcro. Makes this a very practical strap for a field watch, which we'll get into a little bit later. So for that reason, and also the quality of the leather, they definitely edged out the Hamilton by 2. Size, the Hamilton's going to get a 7 versus the 9 for the Swiss Watch Company. I'm saying that because the Hamilton Khaki is actually a 42 millimeter, 11 millimeters thick, and it's got a 52 millimeter lug to lug, whereas the Swiss Watch Company is a 41 millimeter case, 10 millimeters thick, and their lug to lug is actually only 46 millimeters. So it fits very well on most wrists, whereas I find the 42 a little bit large, especially for a field watch. So there's the scoring there. So let's get into another category, which is the practicality. How legible are the two watches in day and night conditions? Well, the Hamilton, you can read it in most conditions. You've got a nice light dial. The numbers are very readable, good size, and this is definitely one of those traditional field watches for a reason that people buy over and over again, because it's just a very practical watch. But Swiss Watch Company gets a 10. Let me explain. They use AR coating, 16 layers. They also use 20 layers of Swiss grade superluminova. So day or night, you're going to be able to read this watch, and you're going to read it deep into the night as well. The numbers are also very highly legible, very easy to read. Not a lot going on in the background. It's just a very legible watch, and for that reason, they get an absolute 10 out of 10. So very nicely done by the Swiss Watch Company there. True field watch. Well, I gave Hamilton a 7. First and foremost, Hamilton only offers this in a leather strap. The other thing is the durability. I do question the fact that there is no screw down crown here, and the crown is oversized. I do like oversized crowns, but the fact that it's not a screw down could make this a culprit for damage. It does have 330 feet of water resistance, so pretty decent especially for a field watch. So, and it's also really well built. So, but I really had to take some points off for the fact that they only offered in leather and the fact that you have a lack of screw down crown. Whereas the Swiss watch company gets a 9. They have a screw down crown first and foremost. The other thing is they have a titanium case, which really makes this scratch resistant, and they also put a coating on this case as well, which also is scratch resistant. So screw down, scratch resistant case, very, very durable, and also has 330 feet of water resistance, plus they offer the additional strap. Okay, so we're looking at fit and finish. Hamilton's known for their fit and finish. I mean, it's a quality piece. Brushing's done really nicely. Everything is just well done. The hands are really just nicely done. Just everything on the watch just is done nicely. It's a quality piece. You've got brushing, you've got polishing. Really just, you can't go wrong with it. So for that reason, it gets a 9. But guess what? So does the Swiss watch company. Bunker, this one is also finished really nicely. I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever with the fit and finish of this piece. Everything is just done really nicely. Have no complaints. Water resistance, they both get a 9 because they both have 330 feet of water resistance. So let's get down to value. Cost versus specs. The Hamilton gets an 8. Despite its lack of AR coating and lume, you still are getting a true just quality watch. You're getting great finishing, really nice exhibition case back. You're getting quality brushing. You're getting an 80-hour power reserve from a movement that is calibrated by Hamilton in-house. Hamilton is a brand that's been around since 1892, and you're just getting one of the most classic and well-known field watches in the industry. So you really can't go wrong with a price that's you get these for under $400 new. So really tough to argue that. So what about the SWC? I give him a 10. I give him a 10 because you can't beat the specs that you get with this watch for the price. This is a watch that is under $500 and actually just a tick under $400. And you're getting that AR coating, which you see in watches well above its price range. You're getting Super Luminova, which shines through the night. You're getting a titanium case, guys. You're getting 2 straps. You're also getting just really nice packaging with the leather pouch here. I mean, just everything is just well done. You're getting a lot of value for your money. That's why I gave them a 10. Resale Collectible. Well, I think you guys already know that Hamilton's going to beat out any micro brand, and SWC is no different. The resale on these is actually pretty good, which is why I gave them an 8. You can have these for a couple years and pretty much flip them for just a smidge under what you paid for them. Not a bad deal, especially for a watch of this caliber. SWC, well, I gave them a low number. They get a 4. I mean, you know, with these micro brands, unfortunately, resale collectability is just not there, especially with this particular watch. There are a couple of micro brands that have some collectability because they do produce limited pieces. But this one here, they're going to keep producing until the demand is low. So there's my thought process on that. So depreciation kind of went into a little bit here. I gave it a 7. You know, the watch isn't a Rolex. You know, it's not going to keep its value, but it will depreciate. I'd say 7 is a pretty normal score for a watch of its caliber. Watches are typically even lower than that. I would usually give them a 5. But again, being a micro brand, it's going to get a 4. It's a little bit under the norm, and this watch is not going to have it's going to depreciate. So you wait a couple years, you'll definitely be able to get this for more than half its price. It's just the nature of the beast. It really is. So who won the battle between the two watches? So let's take a look. Let's do a drum roll. You guys ready? You already know, but here we go. 90-98. The SWC wins by a pretty good margin, and deservingly so. The Swiss watch company did an incredible job with this watch, and as I said, I would love to have this one in my collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, this comparison between the SWC and the Hamilton. Tell me what you guys think below. Do you think I was a little bit hard on Hamilton? Do you think I was a little bit too nice to SWC? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. But remember that this channel is my opinion. So you guys are definitely entitled to your own opinion, and I would definitely love to hear it down below. So please do so, and always remember, while you're writing your comments, that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless, my friends.